Number 1. Weird happenings in the Ohio Valley. When I was about 10 or 11, my dad lived in an old farmhouse way out in the country in southern Ohio. I mean, the nearest one-stoplight hamlet was about 10 miles away, and the nearest proper town was about 10 miles from that. Late 1800s house on about 30 wooded acres. One day me and my brother, who is 4 years older than me, are up in the woods with our dog. My dad's rule was that the dog had to be with us if we were going in the woods, just tooling around and being rambunctious kids. After a while, we come across what I can only describe as a dilapidated shack which had to be at least as old as our house. One room with a dirt floor. We went in and found a very old and deteriorated feather mattress laid on the ground, some silverware, and some old kerosene lamps. Being rowdy young boys, we took great pleasure in breaking what was left of the lamps and carving our initials into the wall of the shack. At this point, it's getting to be sundown, so we start back down the hill to the house. But our dog isn't moving. He's fixated on the tree line behind us, and his hair is raised and his head is low. No matter how we called him, he wouldn't budge and started to growl a low, rumbling growl. Then we heard laughter coming from somewhere in the woods. It sounded like a chuckle at first, then a full-on belly laugh. We then booked it down the hillside after the initial confusion was replaced by fear and adrenaline as the laughter continued, and the dog charged the other way. I heard a commotion behind me about 30 seconds later, and the dog caught up with us, but wheeled back around and stood his ground again, snarling and barking all the while. This repeated till we made it down the hillside and back into the house. I don't know who or what we encountered in the woods that day, but a few things are certain. I don't think I've ever been more scared in my life. Our dog sensed something in there before we did, and he did not like it one bit. And after that incident, he would frequently sit staring at the tree line in the backyard. I've been back to the property since, and it's now overgrown and thoroughly abandoned, which just adds to the creepy and unsettling vibe the place already had. I couldn't bring myself to actually set foot on the property beyond what's left of the driveway the last time I was there, and couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Again, this property is pretty far out of the way for this to logically have been a drug addict or something, and it was far and away not the only incident to occur out there. But in speaking with my brother about it, even now, 16 to 17 years later, it still slightly rattles both of us. Number 2. Wildest experience in the Coromandel in New Zealand. This happened nearly 6 years ago, when my partner and I first got together. We decided to go camping by the beach in Coro. It's very remote, nothing for ages down the road. We were sitting on the rocky beach, and he starts telling me about a conversation he had with his mate. His mate was chatting about seeing some weird lights in the sky, and partway into their conversation, they both see the lights in the sky above them. Not even 5 minutes later, it started. I know this sounds far-fetched, but we have spent almost 6 years trying to figure it out. We are both in scientific careers. We are evidence-based people. If we had not experienced it at the same time, we would not have believed it. 2 strikes of lightning, no thunder, then lights in the sky, slowly aiming towards us. What looked like a Coast Guard searchlight started scanning across the forest around us, then stopped directly on us. This is a small bay. There were no nearby boats before this started. As the light turned off, we saw there was no boat, no lighthouse, nothing that could have created it. It lit up the entire mountainside. It definitely wasn't a torch. Then peculiar strings of lights weaving around the trees. Here's the thing. I saw them as an off-white color. My man-thing saw multicolor. He's completely colorblind. They were far too fluid to be drones. The trees were very close together. Then these weird beams that looked like flashlights but didn't quite look right started signaling all around us in the sky, waving over to us, then back to the sky. We were surrounded by dead branches, etc. Yet we heard no footsteps. Each time we turned off the car lights, they turned on that millisecond. Too quick for a normal reaction time. They became closer and closer, every time we turned the car headlights off and on, silently, until my partner quietly told me to get in the car right now. He heard laughter right beside him, but still no footsteps and no visible people. As we drove out, we saw a massive rubbish bag, about 2 meters long, stuffed full. We checked the site before putting our tent up, and it was definitely not there. I work in the bush out in the warps. I know how to safely establish a tent site. We heard no plastic rustling either. That would explain it being moved there. We were sober, straight, and of sound mental health. To this day, we have no idea what it was. I scoured the internet, local libraries, etc. Nothing. Number 3. Warnings from the other side. Hello, so about a week ago, me and my friend went ghost hunting in an abandoned house, or more like a shack, which was almost big like 3 family cars, and it was located in a forest. It was abandoned from the year 2001 because of newspapers I found. We went there at sunset planning to be there for about an hour. We got some activity on the EMF detector and on the spirit box where we found out the past owner's name was Peter. After half an hour in the building, we heard footsteps outside and the conversation went like this. Is there someone outside? Ghost. Yes. Is the person alive? Ghost. Yes. Is that person a danger to us? Ghost. Yes. Does the person want to hurt us? Ghost. Yes. Is there a reason why does he want to hurt us? Ghost. No. Is he armed with a dangerous weapon? Ghost. Yes. Should we leave? Ghost. Yes. So, after that we heard a person outside. He wasn't even talking to us, so me and my friend got out of the building. We were almost an hour in the building by then. Someone then shined a bright flashlight on my friend when he was leaving the building. Just when both of us left the building and went through a hole in the fence to exit the property. There was this fat guy, probably 50, with a big dog. He started talking to us and asking what we were doing there and if there are more people. After we told him the truth, he started saying that we were trespassing and we apologized. But then the guy pulled out a goddamn machete and he started threatening us that he will kill us. He literally said how he would stab us with it, and we are not even 18, so he was threatening minors even after we apologized like 10 times when he didn't even know if someone owned it. He said he don't know who owns it. As we were backing out from this guy, he told us to come there the next day and fix the fence that is broken for like 2 years and I had a broken arm. He wanted a person with a broken arm to fix a fence that isn't his. What was the guy even thinking? So, after that we walked away and of course we never showed up to fix the fence. But the crazy thing about it is that the ghost warned us about the guy getting every detail correct because he didn't even have a reason to harm us. I think he is just some psychopath who is enjoying threatening people that are more vulnerable than him.